I don't know what this is over here. Miles, you're gonna help me out, okay?
All right, I got you.
So, if you issue $15,000 a month, all right?
15,000 a month.
If you do 15 a month, how much do they advance you? What percentage?
75.
75. Miles, what is 75% of 15K?
12.5.
$12,500?
Yeah,
Is it?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Did you put it in your phone?
See.
Put it in your phone, Miles. I know you're smart. I want to do this so you all keep track. If you throw it in your mind, they don't believe you. Do it in your phone.
All right, give me 1 second.
Do you know how to do it?
Yeah.
15,000 times 0.75? This is
All right,
why
11.
this business is great.
11.25.
Thank you. 11,000.
$11,250.
He does 40 grand a month. Dude, I really like you a lot. 11,250. Okay, let's just do this. So now with what they advanced me, I'm down to 11,250. Fair enough? What do they spend on leads a week? What do you want people to spend?
2 grand.
2 grand a week. Okay. So if you spent 2 grand a week on leads, let's even just say they spent 500. Because they spent 2 grand. Let's just say they were doing 500. They weren't doing much. That's 2,000 a month. Brings it down to 9,250. What percentage of the business? What are you selling for products?
I'm selling veterans.
Okay, so 65% of that's going to stay in the books. So now do 9,250. Let him do it. Times 0.65.
$6,012.
$6,012. What percentage you pay in income tax? Do you have any idea?
Don't know.
Let's go with 30%.
Okay.
So now do 6,012 times 0.6. That's what you get to keep.
That's $3,607.
This is what you're going to make a month. $3,600. Even if I'm only spending 500 weeks, if I go to your 2,000, I'm broke. I'm negative. If you're issuing 15 grand a month, that's your money. So you understand that?
Yes.
Which means, now what a lot of folks will do is, because I was buying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a week of leads because it made sense to me. That relationship financially made sense to me. The more I spent, the more I was going to sell. As long as I went to work. That never escaped me, so I spent. But a lot of folks would be like, hey, how many of you when you started didn't have $2,000 the first week to buy leads? Thank you. They didn't either. Raise your hand, loud and proud. Raise your hand up nice and high so everybody can, there you go. Like they're just lying. They didn't have $2,000 either. Always be honest, right? So it's like always be closing. You always be freaking honest too. So people know what you're doing, right? Like this is not Wolf of Wall Street, the movie in our lives. Like be honest with where you are and what you can do. Because now all of a sudden, it changes everything. Now, you wrote 40 grand your first month.
Yeah.
Right? How much you spent on leads?
Let's say $5 grand.
5 grand total
Yeah.
for the month?
Yeah, for the month.
Okay. And how many hours did you work the week?
Not enough.
Not enough?
Yeah.
Okay. How many, if you talk to 10 people, how many of them did you close?
3, 4.
3 or 4. Which is probably not much different than a lot of the people that weren't killing it. They're doing 1 or 2 or 3, but you kept dialing.
Yeah.
So right now, Stanley's building, y'all building one of the fastest growing distribution hub centers, agency, and life insurance ever. Ever. Like it seems like it, but it's unbelievably fast. You have a machine of people. The deal though is here, you look around left and right, y'all won't be here in 90 days. Some of you will, but a lot of you won't. God's like, yes. See? It's an anointing. So, but a lot of you will not be here if you don't go to work. And then you have to ask yourselves this, right? I would be like, okay, here's what you're making. If this doesn't work, what will you be doing? So let's just take anybody. What were you doing before? Are you doing this full time?
Yeah.
Yes. What were you doing before this?
Well, I'm also a DJ.
You're also a DJ. Okay. Now be honest. Be honest. How much you making as DJ?
Not too much.
Not too much. Thank you. It's okay. It's a hard deal. It's a grind. You got to get going. You got to get so not too much. You have to ask yourself every day you're dialing, every week you're dialing. If I don't put the hours in, I have to go back to what I was doing. What were you doing before this?
In-home sales.
In-home sales. What were you selling?
Water treatment.
God bless America. How much you making selling that?
Probably about 6, 7 grand a month.
Okay. And you worked hard to sell 6, 7 grand a month.
Yeah.
Because that shit's kind of, but
Yeah.
6, 7 grand a month.
Yeah.
Right? You worked hard. So like, you're like, is this better? Yes. What if you're not successful? You got to go back to that. You always have to give yourself a fear of what you could lose. The problem is we all do it when it's about over. How many of you been in a relationship the person cares when you're leaving? They didn't care at all. You raise your hand. She's like, right, but they don't care. We all of us, we're like, this drives us crazy. And then they're like, we don't care. Hey, I'm leaving. Hey, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean what I mean? Well, why are you going somewhere? Well, I've been saying this for a year. I'll change now. No, you just don't want to lose that. Like, we don't care. We don't have fear of loss. You have to give yourself a fear of loss. What are you going to do if you're not successful here? Because this is going to keep moving. He's going to keep showing up. Miles can keep showing up. Dudes, a lot of these guys are going to keep showing up. You have to decide what you want to do. The greatest thing about this is it's not sales. How'd you get leads in water treatment?
They were given to us by the company.
But how did they get them? Where'd they come from?
We were partnered with companies like Costco, so
Yeah.
they were doing like lead generation through big corporations.
Okay, so how do I become a lead? I'm in Costco. Explain to me how I become a lead.
You're a customer, you walk in and they approach you, and boom, you get some sort of referral that's given from the company, and then you sign up for an
And does
appointment.
anybody need water treatment for their house?
Some people do, yeah.
Bullshit. Ain't nuts. Bullshit. Nobody needs that. They want it. Ain't nobody gonna die without it. All the shit y'all pitch and spit. Bullshit. City water. Unless you live in Flint, Michigan for a period of time. You're lying. Ain't nobody gonna die drinking their water at their house. But we sell them on what we think they want. That's sales. This ain't. So if you want to be super salesman, go find a product that people don't need and convince them to buy it. And then convince them to keep it. They're all gonna die. They all need it. They'll ask you for it. We're selling something that they need. You get wealthy in America finding products people need and selling them. I was in real estate. I would have scaled real estate, except it takes any of you have a real estate license? Were you going to ask a question, or are you just going to tell me I'm doing good? Go ahead. I like you, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was gonna ask, what's your name?
My name's Shawn. What's
Shawn
yours?
Thomas.
Thomas. Nice to meet you, Thomas. I work here.
I was gonna ask you, so one thing I thought of is people like to buy luxury. Would you like to put an illusion of them trying to buy luxury and try and mark up that product's price? So let's say it's Gucci. Gucci sells.
Who told you that?
I just did my own research.
Where'd you find it? On Google?
Google.
Okay. So here's the thing. First of all, thank you for saying that. That's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with it. He's okay. It's bullshit. No, but it's bullshit. It's because when somebody needs something, it's not about the luxury. It's a requirement. Makes sense? Now, if you go, I'm going to sell a bunch of people on that, like, I can go, here's my watch. And you go, great, and it's awesome. And I got every one of them they ever made, Rolex did. Only because I can resell them and they hold value and I like them and whatever. But at the end of the day, yes, people might go, that's better because of this brand. It's life insurance, dude. Those are want products. And you're right about that. That's salesman shit you have to figure out when you're selling things people don't need. We don't need to figure that out. Yo, you're going to die, right? Like the rest of us humans. Yes, good, I got your policy. Thanks for asking for it. I'm going to think about it. Shit, you can't. You might die. I got it. We'll call you back. Shit, when you going to die? I'll call you the day before. I don't know. I don't stop acting weird. Let's get it done today. I can't afford it. You can't afford not to. You don't want to die like a punk, right? What the last thing people thought is, man, Tom, what a loser, didn't even pay his own bills. We had to cover his funeral, his cremation. Do you want to get burned? I'd say burn over cremation. I always freak people out. I don't want to get burned. I'm like, they're going to burn you because it's cheaper. I'd burn you if you didn't leave no money. My point is, we don't need to sell an illusion. But thank you for saying that. I mean it, asking it, because that's what we do. We outthink ourselves. There's nothing to this. The guys and girls that work the hardest win. The ones that are most honest with their clients and their agents win. The ones that care deeply about what they're doing win. You don't have to be some unbelievable salesperson. That's shit we see in a movie. And those guys go to jail. They do. Guys the other day was like, he asked manager, like, you want to have Jordan Peterson? I was like, I'll punch him in the face. Not Jordan, I like Jordan Peterson. The guy from Wolf of Wall Street, what's that punk's name? I'll punch him in the face. Like, he stole everybody's money. He shouldn't want you. What if that was my grandma? I dropped every one of your teeth out of your mouth. Like, you hit all of them came out. You gotta hit them a lot for all of them to come out because they're in there pretty tight. You don't treat people that way. We do a great thing for people. We get to tell them the truth. We get money. We get paid. Then we can hire people and have them do the exact same thing. If we have a great attitude, if we believe in ourselves. How old are you?
18.
18 mother freaking years old. Who raised you?
My mom and my dad.
Both of them together?
Yeah.
Are they salespeople, business owners?
My dad owns a business.
What's he do?
He does chrome plating for like John Deere, you know, NASA, all those companies.
Got it. Does he know how much you're making here already?
No, he doesn't really. Kind of. I mean, he believes in me, but I want to prove him wrong because he doesn't really, you know. I was, you know, the dumb kid in school, didn't really have good grades, C student, but now I'm gonna build an empire. That's what I'm gonna do.
Dude, I'll tell you. How many of you are at annual convention? How many of you are at annual conventions? Okay, like some of you were. You all should go next year, by the way. How many people spoke from your team? Just you?
Just me, yeah.
He killed it. Go out here, he freaking murdered it. But you have to understand that when Tim Grover said, and it's okay that I don't have to agree with it, when he said you have to have a chip, you can't have a chip on your shoulder, but it has to be inside you. I was like, dude, I don't even know what that means. It kind of sounded weird. It was like some science fiction shit. I have a chip on my shoulder. It's huge. It's everybody that said I couldn't do it. It's my father that said I would never make anything out of my life. It's every teacher I had because I was a C student as well. And I was only a C student to play ball because I knew as long as I get certain grades, I couldn't play football and baseball. Every single person that looked at me because my mom was broke as shit and looked at me like I was some kind of peon. I have a chip on my shoulder I will have until the day I die. No matter what I've done, no matter where I live, no matter what I've made, I still remember. Now my chip goes from, I don't want you to be viewed that way. I don't want you to be viewed that way. I don't want you to view yourself that way. I don't want your mom to view herself that way. I want you to be able to do things in your life that you don't believe that you can do right now. And at the end of the day, if we can get there, this becomes an empire. This becomes the greatest thing you've seen because we help a bunch of people go out there and make a difference in not only their own lives, but everybody else's lives. Does that make sense? But you have to live, breathe. It's like, dude, it becomes an obsession. An obsession. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. And that's why I keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I love y'all, but it's cold up here. Like, y'all choose to live here. That's like really weird. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm in Southern Florida. Like, it's cold. We got the guy in the airport we landed, I could see his breath. I was like, he even got a hat on. Like, what's wrong with that fool? Even the jet bridge, I was like, move, bro, it's cold. You know? But what's amazing is no matter what you would ask me to do, I would have done it because I want to see people build and I want to see them grow. I want to see that happen for you and your family. So, that being said, we'll see if we get any better. See if I helped. Do any of you have any questions about anything? Thank you. Bravest one of the room. Thank you.
What advice would you have for girls in sales doing this? Like, I know that for guys it's better to be assertive with certain people, especially like with vets. But like, what other things would you advise like women to do to be able to get those sales? And
well, what I will tell you is, again, I'm not a female, right? So I can tell you what I've seen over all these years. And as a consumer, if I'm a 78-year-old guy and I get my man calls me or you call me, I don't think that he has a better shot or you do. I want people like this. I don't believe that. Whether it was like, you have a better shot if you're male, female, older, younger. I think assertiveness isn't a male or female thing. And by the way, all of you are assertive differently. My assertiveness is different than his. Is different than his and different than yours. And I think what you have to do when you're not necessarily comfortable about being crazy assertive is saying, listen, I'm uncomfortable right now. Like, Tom, I'm uncomfortable. You're about to make a bad decision. I have to be honest with you. I have to talk to you like I talked to my own dad, my own grandfather. So I'm gonna shoot you straight. You're gonna die with no coverage, or you're gonna call me when you get sick and you can't get it. And those are the worst calls to get. That somebody died and you all didn't help them. Because that happens. You do this long enough, it's gonna happen. They're gonna call you up and find a business card. You know, I went to this lady's house. Now, we used to go in the home, and it freaks y'all out. We used to like call people up, drive to their house, fly in airplanes, get around their cars. And I went to the lady's house and she was drunk as can be. 9:30 in the morning. 60 years old. Open door, she's crying. I'm like, damn, I just got here. And it's her husband filled it out. And she's like, thank God you're here. And I was like, wow, this is a pretty interesting appointment. Yeah, thank God I'm here too. She said, have a seat. I was like, shit, I wonder how big this policy's gonna be. Wonder where her husband is. She said, well, I've been waiting for you. I said, okay, cool. She goes, so you're with the insurance company? I was like, well, I'm an insurance agent, represent a bunch of companies. Okay, cool. I need your help. She goes, I can't get paid. I said, what do you mean? She goes, my husband died 2 days ago. Went to mailbox to get the mail, had a heart attack, dropped dead in the driveway, 55 years old. She said, I've been trying to get the death benefit, nobody will call me back. I spent an hour with her going through paperwork. She ain't got no life insurance. She made an application with somebody. So I call the guy up and I'm like, hey, we have your card. She made an application. Did you know he died? Yes, she called me. I go, well, did you tell her? I said, where does she have the coverage bound? He goes, no, it was a full medical exam. There's no coverage at all. He didn't care at all. He's just like, whatever. And she's bawling. I can't stay in the house. I don't know what to do. Like, dude, that sucks. So you have to, even if you've not experienced those things yet, you have to internalize those things. And I will tell you, male, female, when you look at the leaderboards, we have as many, it's not like it's a bigger number, we just have less women. But when you look at the amount of women that are high performers compared to men, it's not much different. So I think what you have to figure out is, how am I going to be assertive? What am I going to say to be assertive? And if you're not comfortable, say that. Hey, listen, this part is not the best for me, but I feel like we're about to make a bad decision here. And that's what you hear these guys do, the way they talk and how assertive they are. Assertive isn't courageous or bold. Assertive is honest. See, that's when we start getting like assertive. Being assertive is just saying, don't do that. Right. That's a bad program. You shouldn't do that to your child. Don't cut me off and flip me off for no reason, bro. I'm being honest with you. Don't make me get assertive and courageous. Don't do that again. Like, we're just talking to people, and here they've already decided they need our help. They're just waiting for your confidence. I think it's more confidence and honesty than assertiveness. I don't think they need to see you're crazy assertive. They need to feel your confidence. We all love confident people. All of us do. Anywhere we go, what do we want? Confidence. You know, I took my kid one day for surgery, and doctor came out, and he was like, I'm like, how was it? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, I'm the effing best. And then I was telling my buddy, he's like, yeah, he's the best in the country. And I was like, shit, I don't need bedside manner. Like, you good? His arm, he's like, yeah, I'm the best. Look at that. I was like, now, was it ego? I don't know, but it was confident. I was fired up. I don't need a guy that comes in like this and says, I hope it'll be okay, but he was nice to me. Because it's my kid. So a lot of you are so busy trying to be nice and considerate that you're hurting people because you're not being honest. Right. And then you're hiding behind that. Well, it's super nice. Congratulations. Now they're super unprotected and they're super going to die with no super life insurance. And it's your fault. Because they're a lead, we introduced you and they said no. What's the variable, bro? You are. And it's okay, you can't close everybody, but you have to be accountable. So I think just be confident, be honest, and when you're uncomfortable, say it. Hey, listen, this part of my job, but I have to be honest with you. And I always say this, if you tell everybody, no matter what you say on the phone, in the home, recruiting, selling, if you 100% of the time say, I'm never gonna lie to you, that puts a lot of people at peace. No matter what happens, we're on the phone today as it pertains to your coverage, your veterans, your senior, whatever the deal is, I'm not going to lie to you. Because what are your clients afraid of? Being scammed. They're not afraid of getting life insurance. They want life insurance. They are afraid they're going to get somebody on the phone that takes advantage of them. Because they got Google too, like my man Luxury over here. I Googled it. You know what I mean? Like, they got Google too. They got Google too. You know, they're just like, hey, like, this is what happened. And did you watch American Greed? And did you see what this guy did over here? I ain't gonna lie to you. That's enough assertiveness right there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you're assertive because ain't nobody else want to ask a question. And you're like, I gotta ask a question. I don't care what they think. Great question too, by the way. What are the questions y'all got? Oh shit. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
I'm trying to keep it rolling.
I like it. Go ahead.
So earlier you said that you said don't ask so many questions and don't think so much. I mean, ask questions, don't think so much. Was there a time when you're scared and you still get scared today?
No.
No?
Now let me tell you why. I'm not trying to be funny. The reason I'm not scared is because my bigger fear I got is not providing for my family, not being able to get money back, not being a productive citizen. So all the things I got to do to get there, they're not a stronger fear than that. Not being able to provide for my kids, like that's a fear. If any of you have ever seen parents that can't, my mom could not provide for us financially. It's not that she didn't try, but if you've seen your mom lay on the ground crying in the fetal position because she can't pay the bills, that's an awful feeling. And not only do I don't wish that on anybody, And I knew that was never going to, no offense, it was not going to be me. Like, I was going to figure it out. No matter what I had to do work-wise, I was going to figure it out. But, dude, you have to figure out what you're afraid of. And the reason I'm not is I'm not worried about I'm not worried about anybody thinks at all. Some people are like, when you do the interviews, aren't you worried? Dude, what am I going to do? I don't got to cover Deion Sanders. I just got to ask him questions. Like, how's it going to screw me up? I don't got to tackle Shannon Sharp, but just ask him questions. How can I screw that up? And by the way, who gives a shit? I'm going to do the best I can. And remember this in life. People love to build you up, but they love even more to tear you down. Mm-hmm. They love it. So if you're building yourself up, there are people around you hoping you'll fall, hoping you'll slip, and they want to tear you down. And as long as you know that, so dude, it's a good question, I'm just not. And again, there's faith and there's fear. And I got a really deep faith. I'm not going to preach to you because I'm really jacked up, and I know that. But I have a deep faith. And none of you are God, and the only one that can judge me is God, so I'm not to answer to y'all. Amen. I just have to do the best I can. But whatever I do or don't do right in this life, I won't be sitting in front of y'all judging me. But I know I will be judged. Like, I'm 100% sure I can get out of this thing without judgment. And I know that. So that's more my North Star, my focus, than what am I afraid of over here. And like, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get knocked down, okay. What's the worst thing that happens in this business? Now, if you told me, hey man, we want you to go in and fight, is it John Jones?
John Jones.
I mean, dude, I'll be straight up with you, I'll probably be afraid. Like, I want to die. You mean like I like my life? Like, I'm not afraid to lose where I'm embarrassed. I don't want to lose my life. And like, he's like the baddest dude in the planet. So like, I don't know all the shit he knows. I don't know. Like, what am I gonna?
Would you say that's part of you being honest to yourself?
Yeah, straight up myself. Good, bad, or indifferent. And transparency. The reason people like that I'm able to work with a lot of people is what they see. Hopefully, with me is transparency, vulnerability. I'm not remotely perfect. Don't pretend to be. I'm a work in progress, but I can help y'all get to where you need to get to and help find leaders like y'all to build the company through. Like, that's what I bring to the table, not perfection. Because if I'm trying to be perfect, then I should be scared because I'm bound to do something that's going to be imperfect. You're not going to like it.
Mm-hmm. How do you incorporate faith into your business?
Dude, it's everything. What I mean by that is, first of all, I don't preach to anybody about anything, right? You know, it's funny in life insurance, I've been doing this 15 years, and a guy said to me the other day, he goes, well, you know, don't you understand? Like, you've never done that? I go, no, I never did that. I've never lied to a client once. Never. Mm-hmm. And I actually didn't think about it either. I'll be honest with you. I didn't, like, I've done a lot of things in my life that have been wrong, but taking advantage of people that are vulnerable, no. You know what I mean? Like, you do something stupid to me, you and your three buddies, I'll hunt you down and beat the shit out of all three of you. You shoot at me, I'll shoot all three of you. Like, I'm cool with that. But some middle American person who can barely pay their bills, get in the phone and manipulate them? No. So I think my faith guides that. I think also, I know why I'm here. I'm not trying to be weird or nothing, but I know why I'm here. This is what I'm good at. It's why I keep doing it. I'm better at this than I am anything else. Getting around people, bringing them in, helping them understand and building something nobody's ever built before. And then finding people that are in their 20s, 30s, whatever, and showing them how to go make millions of dollars, and then hope they do good in their life. That's it. That's all I bring to the table. Does that make sense? So it's everything for me. Now, it also means I can't judge nobody. So that's the other thing that makes me know. I don't like guys like, well, you know, he doesn't. I'm like, dude, you believe whatever you believe. I just believe what I believe. But also my faith says I'm never to judge you. So when I'm building a business and you do something I don't like, as long as it's legal and ethical, I don't like it. So what? You're living your life. I'm not your judge, jury, or executioner. And I don't want you to be mine either. I think a lot of y'all like so busy going, did you see what he did? How does it affect you? You see what she did. How does that affect you? It ain't got nothing to do with you. So that's my faith. Does that make sense? And it just keeps me real grounded too. And humility. That's how I stay humble. I see people lose their minds. I'm like, dude, you run a business here. You sell life insurance to people that ask for it. And you're walking around like king shit. Like, dude, you just call people that want the insurance and get it to them. Yeah, let me tell you what I do in my sales. I'm like, he calls people like the rest of us. Man, you run such an awesome company, Shawn. Yeah, I found people that can do something that everybody can do. I work my ass off to build it. It's not complicated. Does that make sense? You have one over there?
Yeah. What is the best business relationships that you made, like not only with yourself but others along the journey?
People or what do you mean by that? Like what?
Like, you know, your commitments to yourself could be, you know, a business relationship. You know, or others, trusted people to do your work could be a business relationship. Like what along the way has helped you with your journey of staying consistent?
So what has helped me be consistent? What relationships have helped me, or
Yeah.
what?
Basically, yeah, what relationships help you?
Well, I think here's the thing about your relationships in business. I don't waste my time. I don't only have so much time. So if you and I work together and you bring something to the table for me, but he doesn't and he doesn't and she doesn't, I'm not mad at any of them. But I'm not wasting my time over there at all. And what a lot of you can't do is you talk to everybody. I don't. Like if Miles is killing it, but let's say Miles has been with us for 3 years, and Miles sells about nothing every month. And I'm at the meeting, Miles comes over to me and he says, hey, so tell me, Mom, I want you to say, hey man, I want something I want to run by you.
Hey man, I want something to run by you.
Hey dude, listen, I'll get with you when I can. I'm really busy right now. I gotta talk to the people that actually work here, but I'll come find you, right? Like, and it could be a million that I might walk away from. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, like, I developed a deal where people know I'm not gonna waste my time. And even with I don't care how many times they call me, dude, 100% of the time when I answer the phone, 100%, if your friend calls you, who are you friends with in here?
Stanley.
Who? Stanley, when you call him, how's he answer the phone?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, how you doing? Where you at? What do you got going on? That's
Call-
how I answer.
You call me.
Hey, Shawn.
What's up?
Hey, man, what's up?
I know. What's up with you? What's up, dude?
Oh, yeah, I just had a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, fire away. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's boom, boom, like, dude. And again, you have to set that sort of same thing you do, right? Like, you.
Yeah, he didn't call me because I'm sure, you know, like, what are you calling for? What's up?
But dude, you gotta protect your time. So the best thing I did to stay consistent is protect those relationships. I only got so much time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I only have so much damn time.
When you were very consistent, but how did you not become complacent?
Because, dude, I'm scared of where I was, number one. I think that if I start celebrating too much, it can all be taken from me. I have a massive fear of loss. Like, I could lose everything tomorrow. And I know that. Like, I'm totally clear that I could lose everything tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also, I'm competitive. So if the year gets done, we start the year over again, we're all in the same place. I don't want to lose to any of y'all. I'm competitive. It doesn't mean I'm number one in everything, but I don't want to be, maybe I want to be number 12 instead of number 2,000. But I'm competitive. What time we got, Drew? Oh, yeah, perfect, plenty of time. So, does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, what other question you have back there?
What's your why?
What's my why? And I, dude, by the way, I know that this has gotten butchered by people over the years. Like, everybody's like, what's your why? But it's a great question because it's important. I'll tell you mine. What's yours?
My mom.
Why? Explain that to me.
Like me and her since the get up. She's got my back, I always got hers.
Okay, come here for a minute, Will, if you don't mind. What's your name?
Donovan.
Donovan? Shawn, nice to meet you. Okay, so I want to help you out, Donovan. Okay. So he said, my mom is, say what you said again.
My mom's my wife.
Okay.
It's been me and her since the get up. I got my back, she got mine.
Okay. So I'm gonna help you. That's, but by the way, it's good. But I'll do mine, right? So let's just say mine. My mom is, I'm quite a bit older than you. My why when I got into real estate was my mother. Carrie was the hardest working person I ever met. She had two terrible relationships, many terrible relationships, two terrible husbands, one of which was my father. She's done every single motherfucking thing on her own her whole life, and I've watched her bawl her eyes out on the ground and not be able to get ahead. If you share that with people, dude, you can be vulnerable, you can share it, because it makes a difference to me. Does that make sense? I watch it, and dude, honestly, my why, it's weird. Mine was, if you ask what I like, I want to go places where people know, like, I don't want to be treated the same. Thanks, bro. I don't want to be treated the same. That sounds real like if I pull up the restaurant, I don't wait in line. If I go there, I want them to give me my table. If dudes are in line, I'll walk right by them all. I'm like, and the guy's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, the fuck you say? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I don't give a shit if it's John Jones Jr. and he knocks me the fuck out. Don't talk to me that way. Now, the reason I want to do that is because of the way I was treated growing up and the way my mom was treated. So when I take my mom somewhere for dinner and she's like, look at the menu, and I'm like, I want her to see herself differently. But you have to be able to share with them. Does that make sense? Donovan, take your hands out of your pockets. Okay, so but I'm saying all this stuff's important. Like, you're gonna be, how old are you, bro?
18.
18 years old, dude. This is unbelievable. You're freaking 18 years old. And it's getting you to understand how to carry yourself like a businessman. Your why is unbelievable, but give people information, give them details. Mine is guys like you, who were raised like me, who don't know what to do right now, believe they can do it, don't really know, God, what I can do for my mom. You know what it's like to buy my mother a place to live? My mother, like my mom. Dude, and my mother, I didn't buy her some 27,000 square foot place on the ocean in, Palm Beach. I bought my mom a condo in the area that we didn't grow up in, but near where it was a nice area. That's all and she lost her mind. She's like, I don't understand. What do you mean I don't have, what did you do? And I'm like, I bought it for you, just have it. And she bawled for weeks. And then she retired because she was having some medical problems. She needed to retire, but she was afraid to retire. Then I paid her car off. Then it's great. They go from, you shouldn't do that, to, my friend Nancy and I want to go on vacation. We're not saying you got to pay for it, but would you be, and I'm like, whatever y'all want to go. I don't care, because it's important to my mom. So, dude, your why is great. That's what mine was, but your why will evolve too. My mom's been taken care of for a while now. I'm not doing it now to make sure my mom's good no matter what. But now it's like, your mom ain't good. Not where you need to be taken care of. She ain't where you want her to be. You're not where you want to be. You're 18 years old. You graduate high school? So you're out in the world. You go to college? Dropped out. So here you are. This has got to work, doesn't it? It has to. Is it scary?
Every single day.
Every single day, bro. Thanks for you. Who wouldn't like this dude? Who hired you?
Big man Ryan Eggert.
Big man Ryan. Ryan, who hired you? Stanley. You know this guy, Stanley?
Yeah.
Good dude?
Great dude. A little shithead sometimes. Great dude.
Hey, me too, bro. And him too. All three of us. Trust and believe that. But think about how you feel right now. Dude, how do you not fall in love with this business? Because you got tears in your eyes. Why?
Everyone in here.
Everyone in here. Why?
They're on the same grind that everyone next to each other is.
Correct. And dude, guess what? Everybody's got each other's backs. We're all here. We're going to figure it out. And we're going to win. You hear me? Come here, bro. I got nothing but love for you.
You good?
What this is about. It's all it's about. You crying too. No, it make me cry too. Donovan. Who else? You got a question over there? Anybody else? Just this side? Back there, bro. Dude, the thing about me, I'll get you in a minute. The thing about me is I work out 7 days a week because I have to, for my mind. I mean, I'm not, I don't eat chicken breast 4 days a week, and I don't do 72,000 crunches, and I'm not trying to have a 12-pack. But my mind needs to be right. Does that make sense? So every single day I have to do that. I find things that allow my mind to be right. So in the morning, work out for, it's a couple hours. I work out. I need to go to sauna. I need to go to shit I just need to do for me to make me feel right. Does that make sense? And I think also trying to always find new people to talk to and work with. Because this business becomes monotonous when you just have, but all of a sudden it's like you teach people to move on and do kind of their own deal by going, all right, y'all kind of got it. Let me get over here and work with these guys. And then new people and new blood in the business is what's exciting because they're new. So as exciting as to work with y'all, when all of a sudden, he comes in a couple months ago, bam, new guy, 40 grand. You're fired up anyway, but now it's that takes to a different level. Then all of a sudden, next week, it's another new person, another new guy or girl that does really well. Does that make sense? And it just keeps invigorating the entire organization. So I think for me, it's really just that. People are like, do you read a lot? The only book I read every day is the Bible. I've read a lot of the books. This doesn't mean they're not good. I think there's some really good books out there. But I'm much better at participating than I am reading. So let's just play football. Y'all can do the film study afterwards, tell me where I need to go and who I need to hit. Other than that, I'm totally good. Like, I'd rather just be on the field hitting people. So I kind of keep myself in that place. Does that make sense? What's your question, bro?
So with all of the experience you have now, if you were to get knocked on your ass again, what would be the first thing you would do?
Get back up and punch whatever it was in the face. And what I mean by, hear me on this, is get up as fast as I can. The one thing I've learned in my experience is never to stay down.
Right.
And I mean, I'm up fast. So no matter what it is in life, and I've been through all of it in business. You name it, I've been through it. And when you're in charge of anything, everybody attacks you. They just do it cowardly behind your back. But everybody does. I'm like, dude, if 90% of that stuff was true, I'd be impressed. It's not, but it's like, fine. If it makes you all feel better, say it. It doesn't matter to me. But it's one of those things now with my experience. But when I get up fast, I don't perseverate on it. The one thing I used to do is I'd get up fast and be angry, frustrated, and it would control my emotions. Now, it doesn't. I get up real fast, keep moving. Like, don't you care what he said? Not really. I had a guy that he was working with us probably 5 years ago. And he left, goes somewhere else, and like tormented the people he worked with. He made it like 4 months. He's like, dude, I left. I didn't have, there's no comp, there's no bonus. The people lied to me. And through like 9 other people, he calls me and says, hey, he wants to talk to me. I said, just come see me. He didn't live far from me. And he's like, so he comes in and he walks in the door and I give him a hug. And he's like, I thought you were going to punch me in the face. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, I mean, he wasn't big like you. I don't punch little people. You know what I mean? Like, why would I was like, I ain't going to punch you in the face. I'm like, dude, why would I be mad? He goes, what about all the things I did and said? I go, you're a human being, dude. We all make mistakes. And at the end of the day, but back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, I would have been like, I hate him. I'm never going to talk to him again. And he's built one of the biggest businesses we have here. So and the guy that hired him, just who that is. The guy that hired him, the guy that hired him was like, I don't want him to come back. I'm like, dude, he's got a big business. I know, man, he did this and that to me. I'm like, dude, all the shit he said was about me. It wasn't even about you. What the hell? It wasn't even true. What do you care? And then I forced him, and now he's like, thank God you did that. That's like my biggest leg. I mean, I wouldn't have the business I had. I'm like, dude, so I just learned to get up, but be focused on moving forward, not so angry about everybody around me.
And then I do have something to go off of that too, because I was going to ask this earlier. What's the difference of talking to a woman, talking to a man client? Is there a difference in tone in the way you speak to them, or should you always be brutally honest?
Let me tell you something, dude. I don't talk to my mom the way I talk to my uncle. I was raised by a single mom. So, dude, I mean, I'm very honest, but there's a difference. Like, if it's my man here and I'm like, bro, like, you filled it out, your kids are in the other room, you're the provider, you're going to die with no coverage. Like, what are we even talking about? Now, with a lot of times with women, I'm like, listen, I was honest. I'm raised by a single mom. I'm going to talk to you like I would talk to my mom. And I need you all to understand, I'm trying, but I was definitely different. I was still honest, assertive, what I talk about, confident, but I'm definitely different. No doubt about it. Things I was saying to guys were different than, but then again, I was raised by my mom. And I knew how to talk to her and what not to say and how not to say it. You know what I mean? I'd call my mom when I used to get appointments. My mom was really crazy, like straight crazy. And I would call her and put the people on speakerphone. Like if it was, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Call my mom." I'd be like, "Hey, Ma," and she'd be like, "What's up?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm sitting with Susan, and Susan doesn't trust me." My mom would be like, "Who's Susan?" I'm like, "My client. She filled this thing out for life insurance. She needs it. She knows she's gonna die, but she says she don't trust me." She'd be like, "Why don't you trust my son? My son's trustworthy." And then she would start bullshitting with us later. They're about the same age, and before you know it, she'd hang up and I'd fucking start a policy. Like, I didn't care. I'd call Mike Sizer in the office and tell him everybody was my boss. I'd be like, I gotta call my boss. Like, about what? I'm like, Mike. And he's like, hey, what's up, bud? And I'm like, hey, I told him you're my boss. He's thinking I'm your boss. And I said, and I told him you're gonna fire me if I don't help him because they filled out the thing for life insurance and I'm the person you introduced. And you always tell me the person that doesn't help him gets fired. And I told him how to take care of my kids if they get fired. Will I be fired for not helping Mr. Jones? He'd be like, yeah, probably. Like, I just had fun with it, dude. You know what I mean? I was assertive, but I was definitely different. But I wasn't afraid. Like, whatever I was going to do, I was trying to get to the end result and have fun with it. I mean, in the stuff, as much as, like, I wouldn't bring people out in the field with me because they would always talk and they wouldn't shut up. But when I was on the phone, no matter what I was doing, like, when I went to people's houses, and they actually didn't believe me, when I went to people's houses and they didn't open the door, and I literally would text them and tell them I'm calling 911, like, it worked every time. I'm not trying to fun. Like, when I heard them in there, they were hiding, that 100% of the time they opened the door. They'd be like, oh my God, were you? I'm like, oh my God, I thought something happened, home invasion. I can't even believe it. I took my shoes off and I just walk in. And then I saw them posted. You know what I mean? But I was always like, why would you? It seemed weirder to go to somebody's house, hear them inside, and drive away. Because that means you don't respect your own time.
Right.
And I respect my time. If I show up to something, I respect my time. You know, so does that make sense? But there's definitely a difference.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
When building a business, like with new agents, do you think that the fire has to be, like it has to be in them naturally, or can it be instilled?
Oh, I think it can be. I think a lot of people, first of all, everybody's got a fire inside them somewhere. They're human beings. But a lot of times it's kind of dimmed out dramatically, like life's beating them down. You don't know what they're going through in life. You know their personal situation. You don't know if they got a drug problem, they drink too much, they're depressed. You don't know. I think they can build that fire back up. I think they can instill it in themselves. And you know how we do it? We believe in them. The greatest thing I do is believe in people. Like, now that we've met, bro, I believe in you. And I do. And the most dangerous thing that we can do in a good way is believe in somebody. Because a guy or girl that believes in themselves, just buckle up, because they're hard to mess with. Like, we launched a company, I was 100% sure we'd build the biggest life insurance distribution company ever. I wasn't 99% sure. And our office was, how many square feet is this?
This one's 4.
Our first corporate office was 1,100 square feet. 2 staff, 1 desk. Agents would come in and go. I assumed it would be bigger. And I was like, hey, you know what? Good idea. We're going to lower your comp and have no bonuses. They'd be like, no, it's good size, good size. I'm like, but we can definitely make it bigger. I can get the big. I'll go to Manhattan, right in New York. We'll go on 5th Avenue, do like no problem. But we'd have to lower the comp and get rid of the bonuses. But you know, I think we believed. I had to get the people around me to believe. And when I told them we'd do $1 billion, they were nice, but they're like, he's crazy. Like he's got problems. But I think we built a family, and they're all still here. That's even the corporate staff. We've been open 11 years. The majority of the people have been here 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years. They stay. You treat them right, take good care of them, help them, you believe in them, help them become people they didn't think they were going to become. They do it. But I think a lot of people, everybody's got the fire in them somewhere. So I tend not to give up on people, even when they give up on themselves. They might not do it today, and it's not their time necessarily. So today's not their day, doesn't mean it won't be in a year. Make sense? Yeah. So it's in there. And sometimes we have a problem with our own fire, because we're on fire for 12 straight days or 22 straight days, and then we're not. And it's like, how do we address that at that point in time? Make sense?
Yes.
You got it.
How do you build trust between you and your clients and you and your agents or potential agents?
Dude, the first thing, every one of my clients, I don't pretend that we have this long-standing relationship. So I did say to them, let me explain some ground rules. I'm a big ground rule guy. Explain some ground rules today. I'm going to be completely honest with you about everything we talk. I'm not going to lie to you. And I know that sounds weird in today's world, but a lot of people are worried about them being lied to. I won't lie to you about anything. You may not even like, which by the way is how I sold higher premiums, because I'm like, you may not like the answer, but I will not be lying to you. So I'm like, that's only gonna be $482 a month. He's like, $482. I'm like, remember the part where I'm not gonna lie to you. You are like a walking medical condition. If I was a life insurance company, I would never issue, I say all the time, I would never issue the policy to you.
Right.
Thankfully for you, I don't own the company. I'd be like, no, and no. These fools are gonna give you 25 grand. We need to take it because of your medical condition. So right. I start, that helps me. I was always very like, we're gonna be honest, set those ground rules every appointment. This is who I am. I'm not gonna lie to you about anything. And I said that you'll know because you may not like the answer. Same thing when I'm building a business. When I meet you, I go, hey man, how do you want me to proceed with you? I can always be straight up with you. I'll be respectful, but I'll never lie to you if you want to hear the truth the way I think you need to hear it. Or if you want me to do it the way you want to hear it, I'm not good at that. And I'm really not good at it at all. So I'm not lying. I'm totally, and you build trust. Here's the thing with people. If we just meet, we probably don't trust each other. And we shouldn't really distrust each other. We don't know each other yet. And I would tell people that when I started working with them. You build trust with people when you do things you don't have to do. Doing things you have to do don't build no trust. Like if you're walking behind me and I hold the door, like I'm supposed to do that. Because I didn't shut it in your face, doesn't build trust. But if I go out of my way to do something for y'all I don't have to do, I'm like, hey, I heard y'all over there. I brought you these scripts and these you're like, well, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, I know I don't have to. I just wanted to do it. Hey, I heard you on the phone. I was wondering, like, I'm not trying, but I sell 60 grand a month. I'm not trying to bother you. I had a couple things I'd like to, but I don't have to do that. The more things you do, you don't have to do. Like, nobody's gonna be mad at me if I don't come to Chicago. Honestly, even if I'm just like, hey, dude, I can't make it. You're not really gonna be mad at me, but it doesn't help me build trust. But it's like, you came here, you don't need to come here. You don't have to come anywhere. Cool, you're here. I'll build a little more trust. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So I think you do that but you gotta be consistent.
For sure.
And also, the way you build distrust is when, like, I'm talking to a man over there, we're bullshitting, and then he's like, man, so-and-so on my team doesn't do nothing, and we start talking about somebody else. Because here's what we don't understand. If you are talking about somebody else, to somebody else, that person, they like it in the moment because there's two of you. But subconsciously, they know that when they're not present, you're doing it to them. I don't do that shit. I have not, if there's anything I ever have to say to Stanley, about Stanley, concern Stanley, I'm going to tell Stanley. I ain't going to tell nobody else. I'm going to tell Stanley. If we talk about downstairs, a small group, I wouldn't even tell that story if he wasn't there. Ever. So, once you do that, you build trust. Now he's like, what he sees, what I see with Shawn is what I get. Yeah. I can trust that. I can build off of that. Because if you don't know somebody, you don't trust them or distrust them. Now again, how many of you by nature are trusting? Like, you're like, by nature I'm distrusting. Thanks, be honest, yeah. And how many of you are distrustful by, like, I don't trust people by nature. I don't trust, that's how I am. I'm not even in the middle. I'm kind of like, I don't trust them. If I don't know them, but that's how I was raised. So when I work with people that are overly trusting, I'm like, dude, we'll be a good dynamic, because I trust nobody, you trust everybody. That's why I didn't have a lot of debt. I didn't trust anybody. I was like, you want to work with me? Why? He's like, because you recruited me. Yeah, but what do you want? He's like, just sell life insurance. Okay, well, what do you want from me? He's like, not just leads and stuff. I don't really want, like, I don't really want that. And I'm always looking at how is he going to get me. And he's just, so I think I probably pushed some people away, but I'm by nature distrustful. But I had to learn that about myself. Like, dude, all the stuff I've been through, I just don't trust nobody. I've been let down so much that I'm just kind of like, everybody lets you down, man. So I'm just going to, like, do it on my own. Because if I rely on you, you might let me down and hurt me. But if I don't let you hurt me, you can't hurt me, kind of deal. So, does that make sense?
100%.
When you build a business, what do you do to deal with that, like, constant fear of, like, failure?
Well, here's the deal. What is failure to you?
Like, there's no plan B, so if you mess up plan A, you're kind of, like, lost.
Okay, but like in this business, well, give me a definition of what failure would be. How would that look like?
Dead, letting my agents down, moving backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, moving backwards isn't failure. The only failure I think in business, and this business specifically, is if you quit it. Meaning if you hire 5 people and you feel like you let them down. If you did the best you could, you shouldn't feel that way. If you didn't do the best you could, change it. If 4 of them roll you dead, guess what, bro? You hired them. So now let's figure out, what did you do wrong? The beautiful thing about this business, and why honestly I think it's the greatest business in the world, is you can fix any problem by selling life insurance. See, most businesses, you can't do that. You can't print money. Stanley could do whatever, and he could be like, well, you know what, I need 80 grand. And what could you do? Go write 80 grand. Like, that's the thing about this business. So every time it felt bad or got rocky or got shitty, I just dove in and sold. So when we launched the company, I remember America called me because they freaked out because, dude, nobody did the volume we did before we started. So the first month I wrote like 90 grand by myself and I owned the company. And Jeremy's like, hey, I'm not trying to be difficult, but and compliance is going to call you. And I'm like, dude, I didn't do nothing. He's like, yeah, but you wrote 104,000 this month and 90,000 it was placed. I'm like, that's pretty good procedure. Like, I know, but like, that's a lot. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, that's like over $1 million a year. And I'm like, people don't do that. He's like, no, but they're going to look at all your. I'm like, dude, they can look at everything. I didn't do anything wrong. He's like, we just can't understand that you can write that many apps. And I was like, well, I got a lot of leads and I've been calling like 7 days a week. And you could see my business when I was uncomfortable or needed something, I just wrote a ton. Like I was always writing, but you knew when there was bumps, Tom's gonna roll me 14 grand. Go write 20 more. Oh, wait a minute, you know what? We need that website and that should be, that's 30 G's, go write 30 more. So for me in this bit, you can't do that in real estate, like other companies, you just can't print it like that because you don't have leads. You can't do that in a non-lead bit. You can't do it in a warm market business because you just can't. You can only call your uncle, aunts, and friends so much. But in our business with leads, you can print it.
So when you say that moving backwards is not failing,
that's not failing.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that if you were doing 60 grand a month, your team went down to 30, that ain't good. You're not ecstatic, but you didn't fail. Failing is when you up and walk away and quit something. No matter what it is. If you're like, I want to eat better, I want to work out. I want to get sober. Dude, I've been sober 24 years. You know how many times I tried to get sober? I tried to get sober a lot. I didn't get sober until I was 28. But I was trying to get sober for like a long time. And it worked and it didn't and it just, but I didn't fail. I thought the only way I would have failed is if I said, hey, I'm never gonna get sober, fucking I don't care. I'm gonna use and drink and I would never be here. We'd never have this company. You'd be working wherever, you wouldn't be working here. We wouldn't have this. I tell people all the time, if I start drinking and get high again, y'all need to quit. Don't worry, we have a lot of good people now, so we're all set. But the first 3 or 4 years when I was running a lot, I'd be like, Stanley, if I start getting fucked up again, you need to quit as fast as you can. You know what I mean? But I also did that because when you make goals public or share things, it's more accountability. I wasn't worried that after all those years I was gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, where's an 8 ball? Let's get high. I didn't think so after all these years. But at the end of the day, that's not failing, dude. It's just not. And that's what happens. We start going backwards, and then we start bitching, and we're mad at ourselves, mad at everybody else, we're negative, and then we talk ourselves into it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We speak negative into our lives. And then we end up failing because it gets so bad we quit. Quit working or quit in general. Maybe you didn't quit, but you quit doing it. Then you fail. Why? Because you quit. The thing about this business, when you know that even if it's IULs, and where's Zach? Does Zach tell you about IULs? Yeah. Makes sense? Okay, so but even 15% of that's going to fall off, or 10%. So if you stop working, you're still going to have debt. That's the thing about our business. It requires consistency. It's easy, but it requires consistency. All right, a couple more questions.
What's the best advice you would give to your younger self?
To believe that I was better than at that time I believed I could make money. I didn't believe I could build a business. So when at your age, I was in real estate at 20 or 21. Okay. I believed I could sell real estate. I didn't believe I could build a big business. I didn't believe what he believed. I didn't. He believes at 21, now 22, what I did not believe about myself at 22. If I could go back in time, I'd be like, I would be telling me, Shawn, you can build a business. You can have an office. You can manage 1,000 people. I just didn't believe that. I believed I could be a really good salesperson at a young age. I had to develop into that. That was part of just my self-image and where I was the person. I knew I'd be a killer salesperson. I knew I'd beat about everybody, and every company I was at, I was number one. Yeah. But I didn't believe myself as a businessman and as a business owner, as a recruiter. Okay. One more.
Yeah, so what's the best way that you handle your time management? How many hours should you be putting into recruits and on the phone and stuff like that?
Dude, here's the deal. For y'all right now, you need to sell to eat, you need to sell to fund your business, right? So you gotta sell. So that's your first deal. You gotta sell. It's like oxygen for you. You can't feed nobody else. So you have to sell. I never had it in all the years. Never was like, these days I'm only gonna be, I was like, I need to sell this much per month. No matter what it does, I hit this much per month. Okay, cool. If I could do that running 4 days a week and I had 3 days to recruit, I did. Now I work 7 days a week too. So somebody asked me, what do you think about Sundays? I'm like, well, dude, when I was broke, and even when we got this thing going, I was scared to run the company at the beginning. We worked 7 days a week for quite a long time. And you're early enough in your business, you should be working that hard because you probably don't have to worry about chasing kids around and doing all this other stuff. So if there's ever been a time for you to work, it's now. But at the end of the day, you got to handle your sales first. You can't run from them. See, a lot of people run to recruiting when they're not selling. And dude, it's okay if you have money, but then they don't have any money. And then they call Stanley, I'm like, Stanley, I have debt. Stanley's like, it's like $2,100. Like, what are you freaking out about? Well, they don't sell. Because you got punched in the face a few times selling, so it's like, let me bring it over here. I'm going to recruit people. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to message them. I'm recruiting. I'm building my business. No, dude, you got to eat. And then you got to be able to fund your business. Then you got to make sure you handle the risk management. And because every company in America has a risk management department, there's risk in every business. So if you got into business and you want no risk, you need to get out. The only way there's no risk in business is if you're not in business. Every single business that you're going to be involved in has some component of risk. It doesn't matter. You got the small Walmarts, they steal 80 random muffin. Super Walmarts, they steal $1 million a month. Super Walmarts are still more profitable. They're huge. And people steal shit. And they know they're going to steal it. And they do the best they can to manage it, but they don't shut them down because people steal. They just keep building them up. Does that make sense? So for you, it's really just to understand and handle what you need to handle first. But even back when we started the company, when I told you I work out all the time, dude, I never worked out when we started the company. I ate Cinnabons. I was like 50 pounds heavier. I probably couldn't even run a mile. But I didn't care, bro. I was trying to get paid. They'd be like, you need a new pair of pants. I'm like, that's fine. I'm getting heavy. I don't give a shit. I'd rather be heavy, call it what you want, fat and not broke, than broke and in good shape. That's the biggest shame ever. Go to the gym with a bunch of guys that are broke or at the gym. Fool, get yourself some Cinnabons and go to work. You're working out 3 hours a day, fool. And you live with your mom. You're 27. It ain't cute no more. Go to work. Does that make sense? So you really got to figure out where are your priorities right now. And they change over time.
Yeah.
But right now, it's you got to sell, you got to do what you got to do. Because your business will die. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
We all good?
Yes,
Family?
sir.
Good? Thank you.